Hello family and welcome back. In today's tutorial, I'll be guiding you on how to sew this ruched dress with cowl neck design. I did a video on how to draft it, so I'll make use of the drafted patterns to cut the fabric. I'll start with the front part, and here I've pinned the pattern paper on the fabric. The link on how I drafted this dress is on the description. Kindly check it out. And note that this fabric is on fold at the center front, and don't get confused with the extension at the bottom area. That's the total length of the dress, including 1 inch folding allowance. And very fast, I'll start cutting out the fabric. I added stitching allowances while I was drafting. That's why I'm not leaving much allowances. I'm done cutting the back too. Here is it. I'll now remove the pins to start sewing. Here is the front part of the dress. If you remember, this upper part is the facing for it. So now I'll start by double hemming this edge. You can decide to just overlock it if you have the machine. And these are the pieces I'll use for straps and the ruched part. First, I'm going to fix the straps. And after measuring, I have 15 inches on the longer side. By the time I stitch them on the fabric, I'll be left with about 13.5 inches. The width is 2.5 inches. So now I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch along the edges. The same will apply for this other piece. These straps are now stitched and ironed, as you can see. And for the front, I double hem this top edge for the facing as I explained. What follows is to show you how to stitch the straps on it. I'm folding the facing right sides together and I'm making sure the armholes are aligned. I'll now put the first strap at the folded edge and then stitch with about 0.5 inches. And the same way I stitch on the left armhole is the same way I'll stitch on the right side. Here is what I have after stitching the straps. The cowl effect is already coming out as it should. I'll put this aside for now and work on the back pieces first. This line from the notched part is the center back, and I just want to mark where the front straps will sit at the back. So now I'll measure the bust span, which is 7 divided by 2 gives me 3.5 inches. And that's what I'll mark and notch at the exact same point. I also made this binding piece. It's folded into 2, which I'll use to bind the top edges for both, and that's why I have to cut it into 2 equal parts like this. After that, I'll bring back the front part, pin the first strap on the notch, then cover it with one of the binding pieces. Ensure the strap isn't twisted while pinning it. I'll then head over to the sewing machine to stitch on the pin area after I'm done pinning both the strap and the binding piece. So guys, I'm done stitching the first step. It still looks unfinished because I'm not yet done with everything. Again, I'll make a top stitch on the binding, then stitch when it's folded so that the end result should be close to this. Here are the back pieces after stitching as I explained, though I haven't ironed them, which I'll do after I'm done with what I'm about to show you. I'm now going to put back the pieces right sides together, and I'm ensuring everything is well aligned, including straps. From there, I want to stitch this zipper at the center back, but first I'll mark where the zipper will end. At that point, then stitch the rest from the mark to the bottom end, and make sure you're using straight stitches here. The zipper is now stitched at the center back, as you can see. I now want to work on the ruched part. Here is the piece I'll use as rope's casing. I've given it a very nice press and I've folded it as well. This is the front piece where I'll stitch it on. The ruche is supposed to start from the waistline. I'll first draw the waistline on the piece, and then from the center front, I'm going to mark my bust span all the way to the bottom edge. Then draw a line passing through these points. Remember, I'm working on the fabric's wrong side. So now I'll put this casing on the line. The midpoint is to align with the drawn line, and I'll just stitch at the middle and also on the side. but first I'll have the bottom edge folded before stitching the casing. This is what I have after stitching. I've also made 2 ropes I'll be passing through the casing, and I'll do that after joining the sides with measurements. And to join sides, I'll first confirm once more that the straps are not twisted, then stitch here the same way we normally join the shoulders. I'm covering up the unfinished part with the front facing, and I'll stitch it when it's folded in that manner using measurements. I'll stitch it to the bottom, and same will apply to this other side. And guys, I'm done joining sides using measurements. The dress is almost complete, and as you can see, the sides are also well finished on both sides. I'm now going to finalize by passing these ropes through the casing with the safety pin. I'll start with one of the ropes, pass it through, then pin it down at the waistline where the casing ends. Again, I'll continue with the second one, pass it through the casing the same way I did with the first. After I'm done with all that, I'll now stitch them on the waistline here. And that's all for this lovely dress, guys. Kindly don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time here. Also like and leave a comment on the comment section.